All right, everybody, this is Nash here, and we're coming at you with another Texas Longhorn football video. Now, the Texas Longhorn season, it's fast approaching. The season practice, all the training camp starts August 2nd of Wednesday next week, so look out for that. That's going to be really exciting. But today, I'm going to talk about why 2023 is the year. You're going to hear some people, they point to 2024. Hey, that's the year that we're building towards, and then that's the year that we're going to make a full push to try and make the playoff, whatnot. No, that's this year. And we're going to get into it right now. So if you like the video, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then comment down below your thoughts on me saying 2023 is the year for Texas to make a push to the playoffs. Now, let's just hop right into it. So here's the deal. When we need to unpack these things, you need to look at, there's a couple things when people say the playoff push is next year's the one, okay? It's not because we're going into the SEC and schedule and all that stuff and whatnot. It's because the playoffs is getting expanded. I mean, we're going from 4 teams to 12 teams, and it's just simple math. It's easier to make the 12-team playoff than it is to make the 4-team playoff. Almost said 4 instead of 12. But at the end of the day, I think that this year that we're in the Big 12 is going to be the best one, and it's not because of the competition level. Nothing to do with that. And it has everything to do with the roster that we have on hand. Now, there's been some recent reports about Gary Patterson looking to join the Texas squad back up. Now, some people are saying that it was a premature push and, it's not 100% yet, but from what's been said, he's told the team, hey, I'm coming back. Expect me back in 2023. Well, that'd be nice to see, but I'm telling you, we don't even need Gary Patterson in 2023. The reason why I'm so excited for this Texas Longhorn roster in 2023 is the defensive depth and experience. I mean, when you look at a Pete Kwiatkowski defense, like specifically Pete Kwiatkowski, the things that his defense relies upon are defensive tackles and DBs. Those are two of the arguably two of the biggest position groups on the team or on the field for Pete Kwiatkowski at any time. All right, everybody, so we're going to be starting off with the linebackers here, and as you can see, I mean, there's some experience in the linebacker room, but really there's not a ton of it. Outside of Jalen Ford and David Benda, who really, if you go and look at David Benda and Maurice Blackwell, David Benda, he was one of the guys that went to spend time in the running back room along with Roschon Johnson and switch his position when we needed help. So he lost a year to half a year of experience, or development probably, doing that to help out. Now, then you also go and look at Maurice Blackwell, who started out as a safety, similarly to DeMarvin Overshown, spinning him down and hoping that can work out the same way. Outside of that, there's just not really much experience. And that's not saying anything bad, really. But that's just going and saying, hey, look, these guys, these Anthony Hill guys, Samaje Burrell, Leona Lafau, Darren Gillette, there's some really talented dudes. And I could see in 2 to 3 years this being the strongest position on the roster. Like, without a doubt. I could see that. And that's honestly probably going to be the case in a couple of years. But right now, that's not this year. We're going to need Anthony Hill. We're going to need 2 or 3 of these guys. Really, probably all these, young linebackers to come up and step up, make an impact, take some snaps away, and really provide some depth for Texas in 2023. All right, so we're going to be going from the linebackers here to the edge position. And when you look at the edge position, it's our weakest group. And when I mean our weakest group, as far as experience-wise, sorry about my dog on the door right there, there's just not that much experience coming back. Outside of Barron Sorrell, Justice Finkley, and Ethan Burke, and Jamon Tapp, there's nothing. And really, between Justice Finkley, Ethan Burke, and Jamon Tapp, there's probably only if you were being fair, you could probably say there's only one real year of experience between the 3 of those guys, if you were to combine their experience together. There just wasn't a lot of snaps between the 2 of them, or between 3 of them. Now, Barron Sorrell, he was our lone edge last year, and I know Ovie Gofu, he did some nice things. He did. But we need a guy to take another step and be better than what Ovie Gofu was last year. And I mean, I think all these dudes, they have a potential to do it. Justice Finkley, The knock on him is the arms, the length of his arms, and how far he can reach. I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know much about that. So I'm not going to speak negatively on the guy when I can't, especially when I can't back it up. Ethan Burke, he's a guy that the size is there. Okay, the exact opposite of what we just said for Justice Finkley. Now, in his freshman year, he had some nice stats, but they were a smaller sample size. So do those continue with the larger sample size? I mean, if it keeps up at the same rate, he could be an impact player off the edge for us this year. Jamon Tapp, edge, 6'3", 266 pounds, redshirt freshman. This is a guy, he played early in the year, and I say this, he was just really undersized, okay? He was getting pushed around a little bit, and that has nothing to do with him as a player, and just, he was a true freshman, undersized, and we literally needed him that bad. And it goes to show, like, the experience in the room. We don't have a ton of experience coming back, and we need him bad this year as well. Now, 6'3", 266 pounds. He has transformed his body. He's bigger. That's a guy that I'm very excited to see how the offseason transformation has taken and really translates to on-the-field play. And then Tausili Okana, a guy that we stole from OU. So, always love to see that. Always love to steal recruits from OU. But now we're going to start to head into the positions that this is where we get the confidence, okay? Pete Kwiatkowski's teams rely on defensive tackles and defensive backs. And there's a lot of them. And there's a lot of experience too. Now, when you start to look at the defensive tackle room, this is where the experience really starts to come in. And while the defensive back room is really far more experienced, I think 2024 has to be the year, because when you're looking at the defensive tackles, you look at the seniority of them. Outside of Vernon Broughton and Trill Carter, and I guess maybe you could consider Alfred Collins depending on the year that he has, these guys aren't coming back. We're most likely losing a T'Vondre Sweat, Alfred Collins, and Byron Murphy after this year. So there's going to be some young defensive tackles that are going to need to make an impact in 2024. But that's not this year. This year, adding a Trill Carter in, that helps with the depth. He's had 4 years of experience. T'Vondre Sweat, 4 years of experience. Probably the most experienced guy as far as total snap count goes on the defensive tackle room. Alfred Collins, 6'5", 317 pounds there. The size, the talent, the athleticism has never been the question with him. It's purely, does Alfred want to be Alfred? And if Alfred's going to be Alfred, woo! That's an NFL football player. Byron Murphy. That dude's a dog. that dude gets pushed, and he gets pushed often. You're constantly seeing him push the center or guards back just immediately. And then Vernon Broughton, this was a guy. Vernon Broughton is going to be your headlining guy in 2024. He's going to be your number one guy. And that's my prediction going into the 2024 season, or going into the 2023 season, as Vernon Broughton, he's going to be a guy that really, that we have a lot of faith in heading into the 2024 season. I think he's going to show a lot of nice things. He showed some nice things last year, and really, if you were to ask my buddy Jay Bass, fellow YouTuber, we're sitting here, we're doing this film study, and we're trying to look at Byron Murphy, we're trying to look at Barron Sorrell. And the one guy, if there was one guy that just kept jumping off the script, literally jumping off to us, was Vernon Broughton, number 45. That dude, really excited to see what we have in him. And then the Aaron Bryant, Jere Bledsoe, Zach Swanson, Christopher Ross, these guys, hey, we don't need them in 2023. We need them to develop and continue to get experience and to really be impact players in 2024. But you look at this. Between Byron Murphy, Vernon Broughton, Alfred Collins, T'Vondre Sweat, and Trill Carter, that's 15 years of experience right there. 15 seasons of experience between those 5 guys. I think they're going to be a big reason because if you look at the defensive tackles, they are massive in PK's scheme, especially when you talk about their ability to eat up sacks. And bodies like T'Vondre Sweat, Alfred Collins, Byron Murphy, and Vernon Broughton, they're going to be able to do that often for us. All right, so moving on to the defensive back room. This is one of the rooms that does inspire the most confidence, and really, there's so much experience in this room, it's not even funny. You look at the total seasons of experience, and give me 1 second. So you look at that total experience for the entire Texas Longhorn defense. We have 62 total seasons between all these groups. 41.9% of the total seasons of experience comes from this defensive back room. So the safeties and cornerbacks are going to be massive for us. Now, and there's a lot to unpack here, so let's just go right into the defensive backs. We had some new transfers, Jalen Catalon and Gavin Holmes from Wake Forest and Arkansas. They're going to be big for us. Massive. I mean, you look at the experience. If you get a healthy Jalen Catalon, that changes your defense. That changes the back end of your defense and takes them to another level. You add in what would honestly, this is looking like a depth piece. I mean, our 3 deep. When you're talking about, we have a 3 deep at cornerback now. A 3 deep. Yes, 3. This is nice. This is a nice development. Getting him, he's going to be in the 2 deep at least, at the very minimum. He's going to be having some significant snaps. Gavin Holmes, look to make an impact from him. Look to see an impact from him, I should say. Now, you go and you look at this. It's just a lot of experience coming back. I mean, there are a few guys with 1 year of experience and they're freshmen last year. That, hey, you look at that. That's not this is not a write-off list like some of these other positions might be. Okay, Terrence Brooks, Jalen Gilbo, B.J. Allen Jr., even a guy I know some of y'all are gonna be like, what? Yeah, Xavier Bryce. Yes, Xavier Bryce. These guys, they will play impact snaps for this defense in 2023, but really it just comes down to the Gavin Holmes, Jaron Thompson, Jahdae Barron, Jalen Catalon, and Ryan Watts of the world. Now, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Keaton Crawford by excluding him right there. He's just not a starter. But when you look at the starters on this team, okay, projected starter, Jalen Ford, 3 years of experience. T'Vondre Sweat, 4 years of experience. Okay? Byron Murphy, 2 years of experience. Barron Sorrell, 2 years of experience. Ryan Watts, 3 years. Jalen Catalon, 4 years. Jahdae Barron, 3 years. Jaron Thompson, 3 years. This many guys with 2 or more years of experience at least. This is going to be an experienced defense on the field for PK in the year 2023. And I'm not done with the running. I'm not done with going over the defensive back position. But I'm just going over and showing you, hey, these starters, yeah, there's going to be an experienced defense on the field for PK in the year 2023. But then you go and you look at some of these freshmen, okay? Malik Muhammad, Derek Williams Jr. We've heard some great things about these 2 guys in fall camp. Malik Muhammad, hey, if you watched him during the spring game, he covered Xavier Worthy about as good as I've seen anybody cover Xavier Worthy. So I'm excited to see him. We already mentioned Jalen Gilbo and Terrence Brooks. Now, one guy I'm very interested to see at the defensive back room, and he was an athlete, so you kind of knew it, but he could have played linebacker or defensive back, Jelani McDonald. And just nothing really super interesting with that other than that is a very athletic guy that can cover people, and I'm really excited to see him. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's a ton of experience coming back from this for this 2023 season that's not going to be there in 2024. I mean, you look at this. Jalen Ford's probably gone. T'Vondre Sweat probably gone. Byron Murphy probably gone. Ryan Watts probably gone. Who knows about Barron Sorrell? I'm not going to say him. Jalen Catalon probably gone. Barron probably gone. Thompson probably gone. Holmes probably gone. That's 7 of those 8 guys that I said. They're probably going They're probably going to be gone in 2024. So, at the end of the day, this is the year, especially when you talk about defense, because defense wins championships. Now, let's see if that experience can go win us a championship too. Hope you all have a great day. Hook 'em!